Yo,
So, thank you for coming, Marcus Henry and Yamitra.
you're welcome.
Uh, Thank you
You're
for
welcome. I
doing this
grace
video.
you with my
Oh,
presence. Be glad. Be
Yeah,
appreciative.
be appreciative. All
Yeah.
right. As the third nation we're doing this with, let's get the we know the order of the questions. You guys have already been DM'd in advance. So if you can just
Yep.
explain to us, Mr. Mark Henry, how you got involved with this shitty genre.
Um, I originally joined the game back in 2021, I believe. What is it? I joined after I think it was Pixelated Apollo's first video. My buddy Skyvasker invited me, and we joined Prussia at the time. I was in Prussia for a bit, probably up until like the August of that year, and then I switched over to Andor, and I've been here ever since.
Mr. Yamitra.
for me, I joined my first group called LGA, Icarus's LGA. I've been there for like a year and a half, and ever since then, once LGA shut down, I followed Strive or Die in Brunswick and his Rheinbins at Bavaria. And then when I heard that Icarus and Domeboy was making Andor, the Duchy of Andor, that's where I first joined. And ever since then, I've been in Andor for the past 5 years. Didn't leave, didn't join, just been in this group. So
All right. Uh, we're gonna shift over to your recent. Well, I'm not gonna say recent because it's been a while now, but your ascension to Emperor of Andor, and declaring the
Yep.
Empire of Andor. Formerly used to be the Kingdom of Andor, and of course, multiple kings have came and gone. But what inspired you to take leadership in this nation after your long hiatus in inactivity?
Um, that's not true. I wasn't inactive. I had a brief month I break. I think it was the winter of 22 and like in like the January of 2023, and I came back. And when I came back, Andor didn't really have like a command structure at the time. We were doing pretty rough in battles. So the then like re-promoted King Lithius, who came back from being inactive for like a year, me and him talked, and I eventually became like a general of the then CAC. We had like 4 regiments at the time. We rallied 80. The nation as a whole was like 110. And from there, I just slowly rose up because there was really no one else above me at the time. My ex-sync was, but then ex-sync retired and went to Naples. And from there, I just essentially took over. I became crown prince later that year, and me and Liftius had a discussion that whenever he was ready to step back, to hand the reins over to me. And then I think it was the February of that year of the 2024 that I announced the Empire of Andor and all that stuff. So generally, mostly for that. Now for me, as me expanding across multiple genres and stuff like that. Um, the reason I decided to do it is that it just seemed like a great opportunity to get like the Andor air quote brand out there. Like Windward was a really good up and coming community. The Navy was going really strong there. It's been around for about a year and a half. The game stagnated pretty bad at this point. It's not really the Navy's fault. It's just the game. And then after that, I got into contact with the owners of Admortem, which is the like kind of Victorian EI successor type thing. And the Admortem branch is doing excellent at this point. They're doing very well. Although the community rallies like 100 as a whole, like even then they're still on there actively winning every battle. So it's been going very very well for us so far with our branches and our our other stuff. We're always looking to expand to other communities. So if I ever find another one that looks prospective and worth it, then I'll probably expand into that one too.
All right. Um, Moving on. If you could say to like a ranker or a person listening, what makes Andor different, and why should they join Andor?
The general Andor target audience seems to be not the first people that join. Most of the people that join this game, I'm assuming everyone here at least somewhat knows what Napoleonic history is. They're joining for the history. The average target audience is someone that's been in the community for a little while that is looking for something more unique. I mean, Andor's fictional. That's just simply it. It's the only fictional nation. We have a lot of unique fictional like traits and characteristics and things that someone can earn, right? The Order of the Gold Griffin, our medals, our the uniforms, like just to be a part of the community and the culture, right? That's something that's been around for 5 years at this point. That's been built on by multiple different generations of people who played the game. So I think we just offer a really unique experience that a lot of other nations can't replicate. So
All right. This goes for both of you, Yamitra and Mark. What is your proudest moment in Andor so far?
I guess if I had to say like my personally proudest moment would be obviously like me becoming emperor and like declaring the empire and like that whole thing, and then after from that expanding into multiple communities. That's for me. Like I just kind of tied between those two.
for me, when I was under Weaponized Orphan, I helped organize CAC and PAC. So like, and seeing CAC and PAC being like a still a thing even today, where like PAC was like the longest giant corp was like kind of like the coolest slash like prowess reform outside of like reorganizing the whole army to just being the Imperial Army. But I mean, yeah, it's nice to have something that I organized like a couple of years ago, so be like so practically used to now. It's like kind of a cool thing to have.
All right. Um, we'll shift over to a bit of the harder questions. If you guys were to choose the most consistent regiment in Andor, someone that's always there, always rallying, always hits their numbers, always, can expect this, you get this, who would that be?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't know if I could pick a specific one. Like at the moment, Andor's doing fairly well with its growth and like consistency. I would say the most and I'm really like air quoting here, veteran regiment in the army right now is technically Gronsfeld because Gronsfeld's been around since Andor's been around. Like there's always been a Gronsfeld regiment in Andor for the last 5 years. Like there are people in Gronsfeld right now that have been in Gronsfeld since the start and they've never left. Like they haven't been on inactivity note. Like might have gone on inactivity notice for like a week or two, but like they've been consistently playing the game. Like throughout that
Two
time, like
things
even back into ET. So like that's my personal opinion on it. I
in
don't really have a
in
personal one.
Gronsville, there's two people that are still very involved in the community, Jingo and Doran. They've
Get some
been
light
in
in chat.
Andor since
Go.
the foundation. Been so active even today, 5 years ago.
All right, and then my next question for you is, what do you think is the most improved regiment recently?
The regiment that's like improved the best.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have an answer for that. I'll let Travis take that question. I don't really have an answer.
I
Like I
mean,
said, I think everyone's doing well.
regardless,
I don't really have like a
I think
personal like these guys are
overall,
doing the best.
yeah, I think overall when it comes to like the switch around in the army, at least in my personal opinion, would have been like Eritrea. I think like they had a big like disruption where they used to rally 12, now they're rallying like 28, 25, 28. Yeah, shout out to Eritrea if anything.
Yeah, that's fair.
Big turnaround, committed staff, good people there. But like to clarify, like everyone's doing good. Like Soulsmark is doing amazing, Freeland is doing amazing, Ronsfeld, Swanstone. The army at least is like doing really good when it comes to like getting better. So
All right. I have a question for Mr. Yamitra here. Uh, as you say,
what's
your
up?
role as the Lord Marshal of the regular army or the provincial army, you say you, I would say you would make tough decisions, and with that comes with the closing of multiple regiments. If you could just walk us through things you look for before when you open or close a regiment.
No, sure. So a lot of things when I look for when it comes to like opening or disbanding is generally like, are they going to be dedicated to Andor? As you know, Andor has been here for like the past 5 years. We have a lot of people coming and leaving, and generally, when I look for like a legion, the opportunity to be like, hey, I make this lore, I make this regiment, I create the lore, like that ability to create your own uniforms, to create your own flag, to create your own lore, is a very powerful tool. And I don't really want to give this to like someone who just rallies forward. If I were to like ideally get someone to join in and or to make a legion, to make a regiment, I want them to be one, either ex or Dorian, show they got vouched by anyone in the Andor High Dom, or show them that they are good to work with. If you can't really do this, then like I would just shut you down, even when you rally 40 or 30, simply because like end of the day, like we have been here for the past 5 years, we're very stable. There's just no point to like risk it all because I want bigger number. It's just not plausible with how Andor's logistics right now. But however, I mean, seeing how like the regiment now, as you can see, like we don't have any big community problems. We all like each other. We all work with each other. But in TeamSpeak, the comms are very nice. Army meetings are really good. All this because we choose stability of who cares in Andor than over rally numbers. I think that has always been the agenda of how the Army specifically has like done stuff. I hope that answered a little bit of your question.
All right. Um, back to Mark Henry. And this is, you are the main field commander of Andor, and we've kind of want to ask, if you were to magically disappear, who would you think currently would take over the Empire?
Like would take over.
Yeah, if you were
I
just to
mean,
magically
like
disappear.
the thing is, I'm not sure how other nations run it, but like when it comes to me, like I don't run the nation. Like I hold the spot. We all run it, right? It's like me, PC Travis, Disciple. Like it's always like the most influential and like just the smartest people at the time. Um, so like if someone who would hold the emperor's spot, or, like the I guess like whatever that is called. Honestly, it could be it might be Travis if he'd want it. It might be PC if he wanted it. It could be one of the old lordship just to come in and fill a position, right, and just help out. Like I said, because generally we don't run like it's not a like I'm the boss. You know what I mean? It's like we're all running it. It's like a group effort. So I don't know. Now for main field commanding stuff, it'd probably be Travis when it comes to fielding. Like obvious, that should be pretty obvious.
All right. We're gonna move over to talk about Andour Guard, your separate guard regiment from the Provincial Army Corps. Uh,
Yep.
I have just going on about your commanders and your recent
Yep.
closure. Uh, Opinions on the Andour Guard's recent performance.
Honestly, like I said, AG's been. There's like AG obviously took a hit earlier the year, but like I'm fairly happy with how Disciples done with it. He was given kind of a pretty shitty hand, and he's made something really well out of it. They're still pulling consistently 75. D3 is still one has some of my favorite uniforms in the game. Period. Obviously, right? I love my D3 people. Hell, half of the D3 people that are with the role I served with in the seventh. Like I could, you know what I mean? Like I know, like when I open the leaderboard, I know these people personally, like on a first name basis, first name air quote, first username, whatever. Um, so like, yeah, I think they're doing very well right now. I'm not super displeased.
All right, moving on to back to your Mitra. Um, as you say, you're the general over pack, and you oversee. If you were just to highlight one person that has really helped you so far in reorganizing the army.
Um, um, I think I don't really have like a specific person that I would want to shout out. I watched like in Fearless, it would have been Manor and Goat Row in Eutria, it's Colonized, and Mickey. In Gronsfeld, it's Clyde. In Salzburg, it's Spectre Jackson. Swanstone is Lebrec. I mean, these people, like, there's no single person who did the most. It's just all of us. I remember we had an army meeting about this, like about a month ago, 2 months ago. We reorganized Knack and Sack. They both are subdivisions of, Knack and Sack is still gonna be a thing, but we're just gonna become the Imperial Army. It's not like one person has like done the most initiative. It feels like everyone has done everything well. Like Goat Rose helping with field commanding, Colin is helping with admin work, Groundswell is helping with schedule with Clyde, Spectre is helping with recruitment, with like Solusmark and getting advice for everyone. Everyone's doing their part, and I just think it seems unfair to like credit one person. Um, Shout out to PC and like Disciple for helping. Like I guess yeah, if there's anything that would like help like rename like organization for the army, it would be like PC and Disciple because they were the one who approached me with like this reform idea, and I think it's been working out really well.
Agree. It's not fair to just give one person like all the credit. It's not like I said. It's a group effort at the end of the day. People like everyone is putting in a lot of work for the group, which I obviously
The
like. I can't.
one thing I
Everyone
want,
else.
yeah, yeah, I think one thing I want to address with like the army and Andor is that we are like building up like something special. Like the past 2 months, when like seeing how everything goes, like it has been like a great opportunity to like both grow as a community and also gotten better. We have a lot of juniors here who are new to leading, but like we have so many seniors who are willing to like help them and guide them. I'm really happy with the community we have, and it's just hard to like just say like, oh, one person does this.
All right, moving on.
So that's my opinion.
Oh, sorry. Uh, we're gonna
Yeah,
go on to the more important aspects that people consider of Andor. You guys are the only fictional nation in the game, like you've said, and with that comes freedom and sometimes restraint. If you could highlight some of the things you've had to go through as being the only fictional nation in terms of like the back end side, what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do, what the little tweaks that you can do as a fictional nation.
Well, to be honest with you, like most people have like certain opinions that there's like a deep state or whatever nonsense. That's all bullshit. That's just not true. Um, like for the most part, Andor gets dealt a pretty good hand. Like I can't really complain. Like before I was like an emperor, like a major general or anything. When I was just like a mid-ranking officer, I felt like probably a lot of Andor officers do today that were super limited and it's not fair. However, when you put into comparison what like you can get as in like as a regiment in Andor, like uniform and creativity wise, we're dealt a pretty good hand. The only thing that we're asked not to do is just like load up with embroidery. That's the only thing we're asked not to do. When it comes to uniforms, let us they give us a pretty like free clean slate. Fairly like pretty fair with it. Um, the only like the biggest challenge, I guess, if we want to go over anything, I wouldn't say it's mostly from a nation leader perspective, like a nation leader or like nation command thing. It's mostly like I said earlier, is that the target audience for Andor is not your fresh guy who's joining. Because again, probably at least 60% of the people that play this game are here because they like the 42nd Black Watch, they like the NR4 or the Hungarian Grenadiers or whatever. Right? They have a regiment that they like because they played NCW or they just know history or whatever, and they feel connected to it. Again, people come in, they go, "What the hell's an Andor?" I don't blame them. It's fine. But it's like I said, generally it's just like trying to catch the attention of that new player, the fresh join, right? It can be a little bit difficult sometimes, but for the most part, I think we do fine because people generally seem to be interested. It's mostly out of curiosity at the start, and then once they join, they get a feel for the community, the aesthetic, and all that stuff.
Mitra.
Um, I mean, exactly what Mark said. A lot of it comes from like, it's like how do we advertise Andor in a community where it's very historical, right? That's what has been kind of the reason why our rally has always been like stabilized and not really too large. It's just how do we advertise it? So
Oh yeah.
All right. Moving on, we have to talk about custom maps. I've been brought up this question by someone. Custom maps coming in. As you know, the addition of the the Lockmore Citadel has been very much talked about. And is there any update, possibility Lockmore Citadel would be getting an NW rebrand?
Um, I will say that I'm not allowed to talk about that. That's all I'll say. That's the comment. That's the official Andor statement.
All right, moving on. Also, viewers, be advised, we're looking for a viewer question. None of you guys have decided to send me a viewer question. But moving on with the scripted questions, if I can find them. Uh, we're going to talk about the how to handle drama and conflict between regiments. Like you said, as it has gotten a lot better as you guys have taken over. But in the past, how would you guys go about handling conflicts and toxicity within your nation?
So to clarify the question, do you mean when I was an officer or me being a leader? I just want to clarify.
You being a leader.
Well, for the most part, I'll just be entirely honest with you. We don't really have regimental conflicts. Like it's just not something that like Andor has because to be when it comes to that, I'm very hands-on, forceful. I don't tolerate infighting. We're all working like that's one of the beauty of Andor Command is that we have such an insanely different, like diverse range of people. Right? People of all different political opinions, creeds, colors, whatever. They all come together to work for Andor. Right? And that's I think one of the most unique things about us is that again the fact that we have all these different kinds of people with who probably would never interact with each other ever in any other circumstance other than being in Andor. Now, when it comes to dealing with the conflicts, it really just comes down to miscommunication. 99.9% of the like issues that we have are someone did something and then didn't say anything for whatever reason. They forgot to say it, or
I
you know,
agree.
yeah, that's really what it comes down to. It's just coming down and mediating and being like, what's the problem, and then getting a compromise that they can both like or whatever or hate. It does, it's a good compromise too. So as long as it works.
And what would you say? And what would you say about if you were to describe a decision where major decision backfired? Maybe something didn't go as planned, and how'd you guys recover from it?
So I think one of the best examples for something like, 'cause like obviously we're all human beings, we make mistakes. I think one of the better examples is when we attempted to open up pack grens. This was at a time when pack was in a weird state where they could rally two grand lines as a core, but each regiment could not, like how Austria does it. So we tried to come up with our own unique system to kind of stopgap it. We realized that it's a really bad idea because it just stagnates Gren growth. Because grenadiers are naturally grown; they want to work with their own regiment, and if you just put them under random commanders that aren't theirs, they might not like it. So we're trying to shift more towards like I guess the like French Austrian style of just having grenadier lines within regiments. We realized it was a bad idea. We did it for like 2 or 3 weeks, and we just kind of cut it off about 8 months, 9 months ago, maybe a little bit longer if I had to guess. So
It's about right,
that's
actually. Yeah.
about the first thing that comes to my like top of my head.
All right, we're gonna pan over to the windward side of Andor.
All
As
right.
you said, you had very much you enjoyed expanding over to the windward side of things.
Yep.
If you were to highlight few people that made this possible in your journey over to windward.
Oh well, I mean, just to start, Jackson's for sure. He's Lord High Admiral of the Navy, and the one that literally helped us get in. He was friends with Royal Phoenix. He was a major person within like the naval community of Roblox for a very long time. Specifically like the Windward community because that community just been around for a long time, like NW has. Um, Notum, who's currently like the Admiral of the Navy. Again, he came in because he came in from being a very old DI guy, an early NW guy, and when Vesperia opened under Weaponized Gado, he tried his hand there, realized he didn't like NW anymore, and it wasn't for him, and then he swapped over to the Navy and really gave it his all. Another person I would probably shout out would be Airy, who's another one of our admirals. Unfortunately, he's on like major LOA because again, he's got life. The Europeans are on a different schedule than Americans, and he's just super busy with school and such. So he was the commander of one of our commodore for one of our squadrons for a really long time. He helped push Swanstone slash just the general Navy squadron separated from the Marines to its very best. Um, Another person I'd probably like to shout out would be Joey Solo. Joey was Ares' like successor, and honestly, Joey did really well. Like he did really well with the Navy. The Vanguard was pushing like 30-man rallies. They were beating most of the community, doing overall really well. So those are just like a couple people that first come to mind. Like there's a lot of still officers and petty officers, warrant officers that still every day, just like our people in NW, put a lot of effort in. They get on every day. They show up to their battles. They do the 1v1s, 2v2s, whatever they can. It's not really any stagnation within Windward is not my Navy's fault. It's mostly just the game being a little stagnant, because they were, it's how it is.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Back to the NW side of things. Uh, as we're about in the middle of summer now, and late July, with June. Sorry, can't count months. Oh, we're around late June. As we enter in July, is there anything we should expect from Andor going on, especially with the possible continuation of the Shetland War, or the maybe you guys being joined into the Borodino campaign?
I will say this, and another official indoor state. There are things coming. That's all I'm gonna say.
Could you verify if the Shetland campaign's continuing?
No, I cannot speak. No leaks.
No free leaks.
No free
Uh,
leaks. Nope. You guys
moving
have to
on.
wait.
And as you said, your target player base is the older members of NW.
Yeah.
People who came here, people who've been in other regiments. Now let's see if we can talk to the new members.
Handsome. Hold on. Second.
What would you say to a possible new member? Rather than the
Like
old
a new
ones?
member just freshly joining.
Freshly joining off some Discord ad.
Probably say welcome. Like I said, I'm not a nation leader who's very hands off. I try to interact with my people as much as possible. Like obviously, it was like school this year. I was busy because I'm, an adult. I have school, right? Everyone does. But like I said, for the most part, I try to be very hands on. Like that's why I'm here every weekend. I'm showing up. I'm playing. I would honestly just say welcome and thanks for trying it out. I do genuinely believe that no matter who you are, you can probably find a place here in Andor. Be it, whatever skills that you may have or whatever skills you'd like to develop, you can probably do it here. We're very open to it, like many people have. Nathaniel, you yourself are one of them.
What? Never. Um, moving on to wrapping up our this last section, we'll move over to development, which you're very restricted in. But within Andor, of course, there are great developers, and I personally think Andor has one of the best development because of how free you guys are. If you want to comment on some of the developers that made a lot of your uniforms and models possible.
I mean, historically, we've had quite a few developers. It'd be hard to name them all. I guess just to like go over a couple, Astri and Astro, both of them did a lot of work. Because a lot of work. Um, what is it? Shark and June, one of our old uniform developers who went on active to college. Again, he was helping us out a lot. Um, what is it? Cameron, who what is it? After we lost Valorb in I think it was 2023, we really didn't have anyone to loader, and Cameron with his comp sci skills came in and really like took up the burden for doing our loader and stuff like that. Berlioz was a fairly solid developer. I was very happy with him when he was running the development team. I think we had a little bit of arguments, but overall he did really well. Um, and when it comes to modelers, the most recent modeler that we've had put in a lot of work, I think Astri was doing a lot as well. But it was one of my old rankers named John Crusader 3. Very very good modeler, very good guy to work with. Has a lot of creative experience. Uh, like I said, we just historically had a lot. Matthew, who is our current flag maker, and just other general like PNG maker. I mean, Matthew really came in swinging with that. I think he really found a good skill set. I'm very, very, very impressed with most of the flags that he used. He really does only make like heat. For the most part, like I said, my development team does pretty solid. I don't really have
Uh,
any really complaints.
I would say
Johanna
Andour.
did well
Yep,
as well
Johanna.
from what is it from the fjords and such like that. I think she did pretty well. So like I said, we have a lot of like freelance developers. It's mostly just if you want to help out. If you don't, we switch between uniform makers all the time. Like that's what we all usually like one set of PNG. From there, they just edit as they need.
Yumitra, you wanted to say something?
No, I was gonna say, Mark already described it. Like, yeah, shout out to Matthew and Johanna. They've been when it comes regarding to like the army work, they've been fantastic with like cooperating and talking to us.
All right. Uh, one last thing, and I'll let you guys go. For the future of Andor, what do you think would be like? What path do you think you guys will take to reach your goals? What is your end goal for Andor?
Goal just to be good, have fun. Andor's main goal has always been historically. That's what's always made our agenda different. Is you just want to win. Like I came into this nation as like a sergeant. right, from Prussia, or like a lieutenant, no sergeant. But then like I rose through the ranks from there, right, and I rose from an XO of a line, right, giving comms, flag bearer. Like I was a flag bearer to start, and then from there I started leading lines, and then I started field commanding, and then I eventually came here. Because to be quite honest with you, I just found it to push us to the best that we can be. I felt that it was easier to do that if I had my hands on the reins, right, that I was running. Um, and again, like I said, that's all I ask. All I've ever asked from my commanders is they show up and give 100%, and that if they make a mistake, that they listen to me when I tell them. I'll praise them when they do good, and if they do something bad, I'll tell them they did something bad. I don't field command people differently based on their skill level. I field command them as if they're the best that they possibly are at the game. I don't treat them any differently. From like the most veteran commanders that we have to the brand new juniors that show up, whoever shows up, I expect the best from them. So, and if they don't give me their best, or if they don't give, I know what their best is, and if they don't feel like, and I don't feel like they're giving me the best that they could be, I will push them to do it.
I was told to ask you about one more melee.
One more melee,
Just one more melee. Just one more.
just one more melee, just one more. True.
Um, Other than that, do you have any closing remarks for us, sir?
Yeah, you're a dumb shooter. That's my closing.
Damn, Dimitri?
For me, I would say that Andour is a very unique community that I think a lot of the genre from my day of Slack, but I would just say like just give us one chance to show you guys that hey, Andour is a great community. I think everyone here will enjoy you guys participating in us, and hopefully that we will change your mind. So please, join us and making sure Andour is a stronger and a better community where everyone can come.
All right. Well, we thank you for all coming. We thank you for spending your Sunday afternoon. Other than that, I bid you adieu, and you all have a wonderful day.
Yeah, peace.